So as you know, this is covering this whole things reporting and these all charts
Yeah.
coming in one module which is called Power View. So now you tell me, just I'm just asking how much you know about this thing, this particular part. This is a
Is it
Power
already?
View.
Yeah. So this
Mm-hmm.
is something. So I know how it has been created, and because
Mm-hmm.
I started the whole foundation for this, so I know the whole thing. So
Mm-hmm.
they're using this dashboard. What is
Mm-hmm.
Amisha's job currently is that she needs to, extract the information from this dashboard. We know
Mm-hmm.
how this, I know head and tail of how this has been created and everything, but what I don't know, and that is what, the company is looking at, is that, you know, uh, after I left, there was another guy who was actually from the IT background. He connected with the
Mm-hmm.
server. I also did the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, but then he actually staged it, you know, at certain point wherein he wrote some of the SQL queries to extract information from different sources. And
Mm-hmm.
then there are errors which keeps on coming, and I understand why those errors are coming, because sometimes the column name changes, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
my assumption. That's what is
Mm-hmm.
happening with the error and all this thing. Up to this, we know, like, how exactly this is created, how it has
Mm-hmm.
been
Get it,
done,
get it.
and
Means you know the reporting part, you know the
yes,
complete
yes,
reporting part and this visualizations.
yes.
Yeah.
For us, the major challenge is, sir, that what we need to know is the technical aspect of this, that how the data is getting staged for this particular, because obviously, like, for you also, I think it would be easy for you to, like, because the whole dashboard is ready, then it would be easy for
Mm-hmm.
you to even guide us through, like, how exactly this is done, how the data has been staged, because,
Okay,
like,
get it.
yeah, so
Which
yeah,
data source are you guys using for this? Like, if I'm asked, like, is it which SQL you're using?
I think it is OLAP query through which we are actually connecting it.
Okay, so we directly take OLAP. It's so OLAP is open source. I never worked on OLAP. If I'm check, if it is open source, if not, so we can take MySQL. But if you want OLAP, so I can directly download it.
You can check, if you want, I can show you the source, if that is fine with
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. So can you just
Yeah,
show me
I'll
the
just show
source
you.
as well?
This is the one that you're using, right? Yeah, so if you see, so this is what so what they have done is that, I think that this is a OLAP query, but they have put it in a tabular format.
Okay, get it, get it. Okay. Okay, so
So
they just the folder path is local or it's in server is coming because in folder path shows locally. I'm just saying.
I think what they have done is that they have staged
Uh-huh.
it at a local folder, and then they are pulling out information from there. So what they have done is that, because we know that it is coming from a server. Misha, you were having that
Mm-hmm.
Anthony's email, right?
See, I'm telling you something. What happened?
Ye-
Some people what they do, they already do the ETL. Like for example, in SQL, right? For example, they have multiple tables and number of tables, right? And the
Hmm.
required information, like for example, the minimal data they needed. So what they do, they already do the ETL. I'm just assuming. I'm not sure how they did it, but I'm just assuming. So what they do, they just put a normal ETL for that and how much the data they require in a tabular format. They put it and they put in a share folder as well. If you know, like in share folder might be in OneDrive, okay, in
Yeah,
Microsoft.
that's correct. That's what they have done.
So that's how they do it, and then you connect with the Power BI, and then you do your remaining things, right? The analysis and reporting and ETL, whatever they
Yes,
required. So
yes,
that is also one pipeline, and the other thing is like you can directly call from your server, which is also you can do. Like if you click on get data, and you can directly call it from your server without putting in a OneDrive. Now the what challenges you feel if you call it directly, because you have to do lot of ETL through the Power Query module. If you I'm not sure you did it or not. Power Query,
yes.
is something different. Module is something different, like where you do the ETL process for your what analysis, like this, like which dashboard I'm like right now looking. So for
Hmm.
example, as per this dashboard, your requirement tables, for example, I'm just giving one example. So there is one column which is not coming as a date format, but that is a date format column, correct?
Yeah,
Now if when you convert into date format, there are some will be values which is in error. Okay, there will be some values which is not coming as a date. For example, so you have to give a default date like 01110, like this. You have to give a default value, so it will all column will be coming into date format. Like I'm just giving an example. So now your whole column coming into the date format. So this is an ETL process which you do in the Power Query. Now some people just want to, I don't want to spend on some time on the Power Query because sometimes it become complex. So what they do, they already do the ETL process. They put the files in a table format in their box folder, or might, for example, we use box folder for these
hmm,
because we also do the transformation. So that's why I know. So we do in the
yeah,
box folder. In your case, might be the share folder or with the OneDrive might be. And then
yeah.
again, you have to call the OneDrive folder to get those all the tables and the files. and do the earnings. That will be the
Yeah.
pipeline. I'm just guessing.
Also, is it the case like when we, because what I when I was doing initially, what I used to do is that we used to retrieve all the information from a server, the OLAP server,
Mm-hmm.
and then what we
Mm-hmm.
used to do is that when we used to do that, and then it becomes a very lengthy process, because it took the amount of data it was there in,
Sure,
it used to
sure,
take a
sure.
lot of time. And then what I used to do is that I used to create tables, and instead of getting it, we used to automate it once every day, that it used to get refreshed, so that it can update all the information that are there. That was something that I used to do. But I think after that, after I left, they have, because I'm, as I said, that I was not a tech guy, and I got some other opportunities, so I left. And then they actually recruit someone who was from the IT background, who actually, I think he has done a staging sort of thing, wherein he's actually, if you will look into the source, we can actually draw the source as well, where exactly all the files are setting. But my assumption is that he has actually staged it, and then he has run some, I can see some SQL queries he has run over here as well.
That is
If you'll
not,
see.
I think, SQL query. That is, I think, DAX they're putting. If okay, so they okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So that is
yeah,
SQL
yeah.
query. Okay.
Yes, yes,
So let me just read it. Yeah.
yes,
So that's not a SQL actually. They're putting a scripting. Okay. So they
yeah.
put in a script actually. Can you just go a little down for this? Just read all
Yeah,
those things. So that is
yes.
actually DAX. If you see, this is not SQL. This is DAX actually.
Is it?
It's not a SQL. I cannot see the SQL part here. If you see the closely,
Is it a
API
DAX code?
select.
Because DAX is, I thought it is not. It is a SQL query which they have copy pasted here.
Because see, SQL is completely different. How we can put SQL? SQL is like you need to first connect with the SQL things. SQL things means any server like MySQL, PostgreSQL, then you can put. Let me show you how you can put SQL. Go to your get
Yeah,
data part. I'm telling you where
yeah.
you can see your SQL query. Okay, go to your
Sure,
get data
sure,
part.
sure.
So now you see here is the option called direct query, and there is option called yeah, you can click anywhere like blank query and SQL server, anyone you can click it.
Yeah,
SQL Server, you can click it. I'm just showing
yeah,
you how you can get the SQL query. Okay, SQL query is different because this is not SQL. If you closely see, it's written where API is equals to. Okay, I'm working on
yeah,
SQL, so they're giving
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
variable name. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you see in this little pop-up window, if you see there is called import, direct query, and advanced option. If you click on advanced options, click it here. If you open the advanced
Yeah,
option, so now you see it's written SQL statement. So
yeah.
here you write it down your SQL statement based on your database. For
Okay.
example, I'm just given, so you have an employee database, then you have a multiple tables. Now you
Hmm.
don't want 100 tables, you just want a specific table with the specific requirements. Okay, that is your
Right.
case, right?
Hmm.
So now you
Hmm.
just want to import that, like you have to write the query for it, right? For example, select employee, like for
Oh,
example, you have
okay.
10, okay, that is you
Yeah,
have
got
to
it.
write it here directly SQL query. Okay,
Okay.
you can do it here. You don't have to pull because that is called different SQL statement. Or and this is you can do directly your database like SQL Server agent, MySQL. You can do it multiple times. You can import multiple data, multiple things. Like for example, you have three tables you want, one tables you want, three tables. You can directly call it. Okay, right now I just uninstall my MySQL. If you want, I can show you that also. Okay, how you can do that SQL
Yeah, we
part.
would like to
But
we would like to have a look, like
Mhm,
but I'm
mhm,
just showing you, like what we know, and as I said that
mhm.
don't
Because
know a
this
lot.
union and all might be you get little confused with the union and select. These
Yeah.
all are DEX functional. Okay, so
Okay.
you already share screen, so I'm telling you how you get this output, where you getting it. So just go to your Google. Okay, Google is best thing. Okay, right? We IT guys
Yeah.
use lot of Google.
I do
So
use a
just go.
lot of YouTube and Google videos when I get, but as I said that my background is not IT. I'm a CP and a CA.
So
Yeah.
they do the same thing in Excel sheet. So they told me that we need to understand how Power A works because for them like a very easy. Because they told me that sir, the same thing which we do matrix chart, right? There is a called matrix chart, which is
Yeah, we
this
do use.
this when I yeah when I do and they do the automate, they said you waste sorry they you save over 2-3 hours because the same thing we do in Excel for more than 3 hours and 2 hours like this. That's how I found Power BI is very helpful for the financial people. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to your Google. I'm telling you how you get this output as well. This you see this product where and this all things you want to understand this DEX, right? So how you get to you understand from the I'm just telling you. So you can write DEX, search DEX, Power BI, space Power BI, and
It's
space no not cheat sheet, I'm telling space PDF. So you will find an official website through Microsoft. Okay, when you
yeah.
enter it, all the functionality. Oh, so here it is. So download analysis. Yeah, click it here. So this is officially from Microsoft itself. You will find 900 because this have the 900 functionalities. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not this much. I'm not this one. Let me share you the link actually. So now you see this is all the functionality. So if
Right.
you just whenever you click in these arrows, right? Aggregation function, datetime function, filtration function, you will find whatever the functionality is using there, you will find all the functionality. So this is the actually DAX.
Hmm.
Okay. So the
Right.
function which you are seeing right now, it's coming from here. Okay, and the other one is, I'm not sure because I cannot see that clearly, but let me also, like, if you click on search button as well, so for example I just see they're using union as well, right? So at the
Yeah.
above you find at the when you go to again the website, you can search the filtration key. With the help of filtration key, you'll find, you just write union and you will find what union does. The second one, it does select columns. You just click and search the select column, you will find how it will done. So you will find
Okay.
all the functionality there. Okay, so they are
Right.
not using SQL. This one which is right now shows, it is not a SQL, it is a DEX functionality. When you're
Right.
writing a DEX functionality, it written as a Power Query. So that is not called a like SQL query, it is called a Power Query.
Hmm.
Okay,
Correct.
so that
Yes,
is
it
coming
comes.
into comes as a Power Query, and you see the icon is also changed. Okay, so that is a difference. SQL
Okay.
is a completely different. For SQL, we have to first take a database and we have to write our query in that database things. Like when we calling it
Yeah.
either in our database scripting or when we calling this line, just now I show you, right? There we can
Yeah.
write the query. Here,
Okay.
whatever this window you are seeing right now, it is for the DAX functionality. Okay.
Okay.
The other thing is, I'm sharing one more link to you for more references. So those people who work on more in Power Query, right? Like more in Power BI development. So
Hmm.
this is the another. So only these two links are very useful for us for throughout the course. So this is the another one which is called M language. So you will
Yeah.
find somewhere is written let where kind of words, right? Let and where. These are the variable terms which we use in M programming language. So one more reference I shared you. These are the official
Yeah.
website, but I will definitely makes very easy to learn. But these are the
So
official one which you.
what's the difference between both these two queries, like these two language?
Okay, so see the difference, the very big difference actually. DAX is for only the data analysis expressions. Okay, so in the term of when you do the like analysis, like right now you do the same in view part. For example,
Yeah.
you want summation with respect of profit and sales. I'm just giving an example. So you just
Yeah.
need a small like for example sum of sales minus or divided by the profit. You just do the DAX, right? Simply you can do that. But now
Yes.
you just want the complete programming in it, right? You just want with the functionality, you want some function in it, you want some method in it, that how it comes, then you need a program in it. So you programming, you have one more option called Python. Now suppose someone doesn't know the Python, someone doesn't know the R as well, there are no other programming language, right?
Yeah.
So they can go directly for the official programming language, M language of the Power BI. So Power
Yeah.
BI programming language is an M. So for
Hmm.
example, you want to make a website kind of things, right? You have a website. I'm giving a complete overview how Power BI big it is. Okay. So for
Hmm.
example, you have a website. In that
Hmm.
website, you want an API as well, that whenever we call it our report, it coming through my Power BI server and it looks like a website in my web page. Okay. So people like my client can see directly my
Hmm.
reporting in my website. So he don't have to like do the things like filtration and all, the all things will functionality, it will be like dynamic functionality, it should be in my website. So for that you need a programming language, right? We have to write a program in it. We need
Yeah.
JavaScript as well. So there we
Yeah.
can use it M language. So if you again go to Power BI, let me show you how, where you write your M language. You go to your Power BI. So you will find a
Yeah.
different window for M language as well. Go to Power BI. I like these things. Okay, I have a lot of data to explain, but this is just a
Yeah.
demo. So you can click on anywhere in your, like for example, right now you click on product something, right? So can you just show me where your data is, main table? I think this daily data catalyst is
हाँ,
written, right?
हाँ
Go
daily
to
data.
click it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not daily, yeah. Click these three dots. Click on three dots.
Okay, three dots here
Yeah.
side. Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's a
Yeah.
three dots on your right side. Click it
Mm-hmm.
here. Yeah. So here you find edit query option. Okay. So this is a new window. Okay. And this window called Power Query Editor.
Yeah.
Okay. Now if you see here at the above, when you click on this drop box, right? So this is a normal query and functionality. Then above is written advanced editor. Click on the advanced editor.
Yeah.
So there are some ETL, I can clearly see there are some ETL also already happened, right? So when you click on advanced editor, this is the AM language.
Okay.
Okay, so in the background, you will not able to see it when you do the very automation things, but in the background, already ETL is done by the programming actually itself. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is how you can see your programming. So programming is already doing, like when you do the source filter column, right? If you see the change data type, so if you see the code is already written with the hash change data is equal to table transformation, like this is written in already, right? But we don't
Yeah.
know, we just simply do the things with a very easily way. So this is
Yeah.
how you can write it your programming itself separately. So that's a difference. Okay, there are a lot of
Yeah.
things in Power BI. Just I'm just giving an example. Yeah, editing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the
So this,
difference?
this thing, yeah. So this thing is already like it's a system enabled, isn't it? Like filtered rows and all this,
Yeah,
because I know like
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
solid. Yeah, exactly. So when we do the automate things, right? We just simply do with this our Power BI automations functions. But
yeah.
if you go to the background, if you see the all things are doing in a programming way. Okay.
Right.
So for example, you want some changes in it, right? You want some programming terms in a way. You just want your own menu, like you don't want to depend on system. You just want to write your own functions, your
Yeah.
own things. Then you need a programming language, right? The second thing I
Yeah.
want to show, go back again your Power View window. Remember this is a Power Query window and that is Power View window. Okay, so you
Yeah.
should know the little difference in it. Okay, so in Power Query, we do the transformation and ETL process. And in Power View, we do our analysis process. We do the reporting process. Okay, so
Yeah.
that is a difference in the Power Query window and the Power View window. Okay,
Right.
and there is one more window we have, we call Power Model. Okay, so if you see on your Power View window, there are three icons. There are small three icons where you can view your data and model your data. So just go
Yeah.
back again. I think you
Yeah.
already know, I think this thing.
Yeah. 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 We know.
Okay, so see there is one option in visualization part. You will see one more option called Python. Okay, so a lot of
Yeah.
people, for example, are compatible with Python, right? Python is also very easy to learn. So a lot of
Hmm.
people are know Python. They don't want to learn some other programming language. They want to do
Hmm.
the DAX functionality. For example, you are not good with DAX. Let's take an
Hmm.
example. You have no idea what a DAX it is. Okay, you have zero idea. You have no
Yeah.
idea about what a SQL it is. Okay,
Hmm.
but you have idea of Python because nowadays Python is also very big programming language in terms of data science and scientific programming language. Okay, so remember one more definition. So Python is not a programming language nowadays. It is a scientific programming language, just like your MATLAB. If you heard about MATLAB, is also one
Yeah.
programming. So and R is a statical language. If you see at the just beside that is the R is also written, right? So R
Yes.
is a statical programming language and Python is a scientific programming language. So for example, you want to work on data analysis, but you don't know the DAX functionality, and you want to do the easy code way, right? Very easy way, but you know the Python. So you can also do that with the help of Python. You do the coding just like a programmer do. So if you click on
Yeah.
Python, you can do the same thing which you do with the DAX functionality. You with the help of M language, the same thing you can do with the Python. So now you
Okay.
have a multiple choices, okay, which you want
Yeah.
to go. Either you want to go with the DAX, either you go with the Python. For Python, you see when we work Python with the data things, we have to know pandas library because Python have multiple library. For web it's have different programming,
Yes.
for data you
Yeah.
have different. Then if you want to work with the R, you can go for it. For example, you don't want to go with the R as well. You don't want to go with the Python. You can go officially Microsoft itself M language. For example, you don't want to go with the M language. You just want to go with the own SQL scripting. If you have the SQL thing, so you go with the SQL programming language. Then you don't have to do the things here. You can write it your scripting their side, and you can copy paste it just in your advanced SQL query part. And for example, you don't know these all things, but you want in the reporting with a data analysis expression, so you can use DAX. DAX is completely different with all those terminologies. DAX is we using when we need the same time results. For example, you one query will coming that top 10 value with respect to these all 10 charts. This is you
Yeah.
want. Okay, so we have one option called filtrations, but filtration will work on this with one chart, right? For and not with the all multiple charts coming up. Then you have to
Yeah.
drag multiple things, but it's not coming up. So what do? You write a DAX functionality for it. For that, you have to write DAX functionality that your condition will implement it all these 100 or 10 whatever the charts you have. Okay, so
Right.
there you can come. So these things, then DAX come up. then Dex take a part of it. Like Dex, they come, okay, let me handle this problem. When you need
Yeah.
a result with respect to reportings, multiple sheets, right? Then Dex will come up. When you need to customize your things, when you need query transformation part should be like you want to deal with the query part, transformation part should be done by the manually. Then M language, Python will come up. When you
Yeah.
want SQL should come you have a SQL things and you want to work on a SQL programming language, and then SQL scripting come up side. Okay, let me take the things. Okay, so this is all those whole process works.
Yes.
But in short, what we need our best reporting, and this report will succeed until you are not publish your report in a Power BI server. In
Yeah.
server also we have three things. We have to also create pipeline for it. For development we have to create separate pipeline. For
Yeah.
testing we have to create separate pipeline. For production we have to create separate pipeline. So for
Mm.
example, a developer working on the development pipeline, and in production, you know, right? In production means things will be done. So any updation will be done in you have to do in the developing things. Then
Yeah.
embedded is a complete different things. For example, you want reporting, some APIs you want to create for your reporting, then we can do the embedded things programming. So this is the complete, and there are a lot of things will be also data source things. So in Power BI server, right? Because data is very important things in this whole process. So when you want to update your data, that is when, for example, at 150 right now, it's at Indian time it's 150. So at
Mm.
150 you did some changes, but directly you cannot refresh your data there, right? You don't want that refresh right now in the server because it will impact your production as well, right? So you don't want it. What you do, you have
Yeah.
to schedule for it as well, that
Yeah.
when
We
it will be
automate.
refreshed,
We
right?
automate it.
So you
Yeah.
need, yeah, so you have to automate that part also. You have to schedule your part because production is very important, right? You cannot mess with the production data. So
That's
when
true.
you want to refresh your report, when the report will coming up, if any issue will coming in development, that we can handle it, but in production it will not, we cannot do, right? So that is how
Yeah.
we can automate that part also. How much data it should come, it should be clean or not, that is very important, that our report should be looks clean. Then for example, someone viewing on mobile, okay, now this is we talking about in this whole scenario, we talk about the Power BI things. In when we in a laptop we see, or might be tab, we just take an example of tab because right now tab is also coming 12 or 11 inches, but someone is viewing in mobile, right? Then for mobile you have to same dashboard, you have to create it separately, okay, for mobile view. So for
Yeah.
mobile view also you have to create separately with the same report, but there you don't have to do lot of customization. You have to customize only your reports things, not your whole things, because the same thing you can just pull it out in your report view as well, right? Sorry, in mobile view as well, the same report. So
Yeah.
mobile view also you have to, so that is the whole thing, okay, that's the whole scenario. And from the scratch, if you go with the scratch, like for example, you told that you want to learn from the scratch. For if we go to the scratch, then you have to first understand the business, because before proceeding any implementation in data, first we understand our business, then we understand business, that what our business does and what how it performing, right? Then we do our chart thing, what chart we needed. So like where we chart we required, like is we require the pie chart. So as per my experience, we use pie chart only for the huge comparison if we required. Okay, for the date format we only use line chart. So this is are the basic understanding which we have to follow. Then for example, some multiple things like filtration, how where we need filtrations, that is also little basic understanding. We need to know that how we where we needed these things, right? We don't
Yeah.
need so much complex reporting, because as much clean reporting we need. So now just now you have just one report. So for example, you clicking on this blue part, and
Yeah.
this blue part impact, for example, I'm just giving an example. So this blue part is about the whole India things, okay? But when you
Yeah.
click on this blue part, it coming up the only south region, south region something analysis it give. It will show you don't want the result here, because if you do the same result here, it will impact the other chart. So what you want, when you click it here, it will take up to the next reporting where your south region will done, right? With the you, so you have to create another report, report 2, where these two report kind of collaborate. Okay, these two reports should be like what say a concurrent kind of thing, like where you can see that difference with these two reports. Okay, it's kind of web thing, right? If you go to the website, when you click on home, then you click on Australia or India, somewhere any state, and then you see another page, then you see another page. So like this you want a kind of website page. So you, again, you have to do that customizable also in the reporting part. So that is also coming in Power View. We use with the help of drill through. I think you know. I think we can use buttons as well. We can use buttons. We can make the customize.
Yeah, I have used
Then
buttons in previous reports.
so we can use our buttons as well. So what
Yes.
our main job is, make simplified report but better out. Okay, so
Yes.
client or like company can easily understand what it does, right? We can make a small automate. So we have smart view as well in Power BI smart. So we can put questions answers as well. So it's kind of very, and in the server, like I think right now you're using desktop. So in a server, if you go Power BI server, you can download a report in a Microsoft PowerPoint as well. So you can represent as a PowerPoint. So this is the whole scenario from end to end. What you do from the beginning, you have to import the data. To import it, it might be from SQL, it might be from folder, it might be from share folder, it might be your
Yeah.
OneDrive. Then second, after the importing, your second process is ETL, because without clean data, you cannot process your things, right? So we
Yeah.
need ETL. So we have to clean it. Where we can clean it, we clean in a Power Query. Now, how we clean it? We have multiple options. We can do the clean with the Python as well. We can clean in the M language. We can use Power BI itself, Dex, which we have. No, sorry, in the Power Query window, we can use automate transformation things if we have simple transformation part. Or before proceeding the ETL, we can do the same thing in our data source like SQL we have, MySQL we have. So we can create that
Yeah.
that thing as well, like what tables we required as per our requirement, and then we do the normal ETL process. Once our data is get cleaned, then what we do, we come up we like applied and we come to the Power View window. Now in Power View window, as per the requirement, we do the analysis. Okay, so like for example, we need 4 sheets, so we do what we required in our reporting part. So we do analysis. Now in analysis comes our requirement. For example, some conditions comes, like for example, these 4 conditions, like these from shipping country and ship to country, and for example we have reasons based on these 4 shipping output, this should becomes yes and no, like this we want. So where we have to implement this, we have to implement in the DEX functionality, because this is a condition we have to implement, right? This kind of filtration we need all those report in a one, like in all those one sheet we required it. So we did it in the DEX functionality. Now after the DEX, what we need, we have to publish our report in a server. Once we publish our report in a server, now this is our development. Now in the production, the final outcome we need, so we like publishing, then we test it, and then we like we publish in our report in the production. Now something editing we need, some an urgent requirement come, again we do in the development part. Now some data is new, data is updated, so data is updated one day before. So what we do, we schedule it that after 30
Yeah.
minutes or one day before, we schedule it that this report will update in one day or 2 day, like this it is.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
the complete process. So after this whole thing, now your client say we want a final outcome, and you cannot show the whole thing is reporting. You don't want to show it. You just want a simply a PPT file. So what do? You go to Power BI server, you download your reporting in a PPT way through Power BI server, and you just show it.
First
Yeah. That.
important thing is what we need to know is that like you said that
Mm-hmm.
we want to go step by step. So the first thing is that we know how to connect it to the server, putting the login ID and password. That is the basic thing that we know. But
Mm-hmm.
after that, what, like let's say if we talk, why I'm taking, it's not hard and fast that we follow this report only. The reason we want to
Mm-hmm.
follow this report, because then your and my task become bit easier in terms of
Mm-hmm.
understanding what, because at the end of the day she has to do a job in this one, like she
Mm-hmm.
has to manipulate datas, and she has to see
Mm-hmm.
what the errors are coming, why server is not getting connected, or why there is some column mismatch. So those are the first thing that I would like, that if you can help with that first thing, like to, okay, fine,
Mm-hmm.
like let's say for example, when we go to when we are trying to refresh what are the errors that are coming, why it is coming. If we start with that, then it becomes easier for us, because I think the first thing is the source part, like from where the data is actually been coming, and where it is getting staged. So if you can help
Mm-hmm.
her with that first thing, then
Mm-hmm.
that would be a good start. That's what my understanding is, that, but you tell us how to proceed.
Yeah, see, that is also I do when, like for example, but you guys already have experience. Some people doesn't have experience. So what I do, I go very scratch. I take an Excel sheet, then I show how the MySQL working. So of course, the data importing part is the first thing we have to import the data, where it's coming
Yeah.
from, right? It coming from
Yeah.
a folder, it coming from a server, coming from
Yeah.
share folder, where it is coming, right? That is our first thing, because that is how we
Yeah.
have to proceed it. So
Right.
definitely we have to go the first step, that where our data is coming. So we have to understand the complete. One more thing, the credential part. So for example, and if I talk about myself, so I have all the roles. Like I can go through my production data as well, my test data as well, and my development data. But in some cases, some people just allow you, you can do the things with only the development data. Okay, it is a, like, if you know, the production data is mirroring of developer data is mirroring of the production data, right? But production data, like developer data, is also scheduled that when it will be mirrored. Like for example, production data is updated on 2 days back, but our developer data is still 2 days old. It will not mirrored until you are not like mirrored. So that is also one case which I also like allow to my others colleague. Like I worked on directly production data or test data. So what I do, whenever we mirror a data, so it will, some tables will be missing in it. Okay, I don't know in your case scenario, but I'm just telling how it will be worked. So what it does, so I have developer data. So for example, Amisha is only credentials of the development data. So something
No,
if
no, no,
missing, you can directly, yeah, sorry.
sorry, sir. I have the original
My,
license as well. But the thing is, I
Uh-huh.
am practicing at the moment. I'm playing around with this dashboard. So that is why I'm using this
Mhm.
development data. I do have the
Sure, good.
original license and everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
but I'm
just
not
to,
touching that thing
yeah,
at the
just to
moment.
explain you the whole system, it won't
Uh-huh.
take a lot of time, and then if you don't have time, we can log off after that. But just to
Uh-huh.
give you a gist of now,
Mhm.
to explain you the whole model, so that you get an idea. So this
Mhm.
company basically has around, let's say, 1,000 odd pharmacies from where they are pulling out data in
Mhm.
a from a POS system, right? And that filtration
Mhm.
and metadata and everything is done from a third
Mhm.
party who actually has their own data analysis. What we just do
Uh-huh.
is that, yeah, so the way you said that we are mirroring, it's the same thing. Like, they are giving us a
Yeah.
server access to have our
Mhm.
own dashboard wherein we are playing with whatever data are coming out as. So basically what they are doing is that they do have their we do have our own access on two things. One is our own dashboard, which is called as Alliance IQ, which they maintain from their end. And then they have given us certain access in terms of cube reporting sort of thing,
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
actually fetching in through the same OLAP query. And so that is, and then they have created one tabular access for us so that we can visualize those tabular access columns as a Power BI dashboard. Am I clear, or is it something which is a bit confusing?
No, no, I'm getting.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. So yeah,
see, I understand this part because a lot of people do the same thing, same process they follow.
yeah,
Yeah, so this is a basic process which everyone follows. It depends, like how they're doing it. It depends,
yeah,
but the process will be followed by the every company, even my company also. I'm working at IBM actually. I'm working in IBM.
yeah,
But last thing also, when we like mirroring our things and pushing our things. So in your case, you are taking from OneDrive or I think share folder. We put in our IBM own box folder. So actually we don't have any clients. So but in those who have clients, they worked on the same thing. So I have the production data, like IBM product wise, I'm working IBM and Intel projects. So those who are like, for in chaos, you have I think third party. So in the third party, they have a different process, right, for their things, for their data. Now you have to take from your data, from their side, right? If like, and then you have to mirroring. So they allow you how much, like if they are third party, and then you have to, like, their pipeline will be differ. So in your case, that will be a, I have to little, I think take one, I think I have to little study how they're like, do you are guys doing it,
yes,
like how
yeah,
you mirroring and all this, that part I have to take. But in my, there is a process is the same. Okay, there's not a huge difference,
yes.
I can
Yeah,
clearly see.
it's
So
the
yeah.
only thing is that they are taking it from different sources. What has happened that
uh,
one is like they are taking it from a server for which they have provided us a login ID and password. That is one server link. And then there is couple of couple of files that they are receiving on email, which has been again staged, and they are receiving it on email. And I think it's through a Power Automate. They are saving it in a folder, and then it's get populated automatically and get actually aligned with the server link with the existing data, and that's how the whole report is created. So basically there are three different sources in this whole dashboard from where they are actually pulling out the information.
My question is like, because that data is actually not matching with the actual data, like the Power BI data, there is a huge difference in the
Yeah,
dashboard
that's an
data.
error,
Error,
Amisha.
but the thing is like from where actually it's fetching that,
Yeah,
feeding the
that
Power BI, because we are still confused that from where exactly it's the data is coming from, because we don't know that that person has already done those things. We are really confused
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah, so
I
those
know
folders,
issue. You
yeah.
might be have document of it, might be some architecture you have.
Yeah, yeah. So, like when we see, I think, it will be quite clear from here only. Like when we see in this,
Hmm.
the way here, because when I see it, when I see the error, I can see that, there are some columns missing, which is creating the error. Like,
Uh-huh.
so generally what
No, no,
happens,
I'm telling you something. See, this is about the Power BI, okay? But
right?
you have, or if you don't have also, you can ask it. They have a one architecture especially which is called data modeling. Okay, data modeling is little different, not in terms of Power BI. Data modeling is different in terms of their side, like how many columns they have, data and data of the metadata as well. Like they have column and what column data type is. Okay, if they change also, they have a little architecture of it. Definitely they have, because in architecture you can see your data, that how data make it, like how they make their data set, how they make their database, like how many tables, which tables connected to which tables, or how they pulling. So they have definitely a one architecture, a small architecture. If they don't, definitely have, if they're working like this, so they definitely. So with that help, you can get more clarity actually.
That makes a lot of sense, but the only thing is
Mm.
that we don't, the problem is we don't have that access. But I can tell you one thing, from this
Mhm.
dashboard and from the source, you can easily find out what is missing. Only thing is about how to fix it, like yeah, because I can tell you, like for example, let's say for the server part, when we see we have different versions wherein from where it is. So if you see the server part from where they are actually extracting the tabular reporting, you will be able to see all
Mhm.
the columns and everything.
Okay, okay, get it. We can view data as well, right?
Yes, we have the server access also.
Mhm.
We can play with that also, whenever we'll go for our next class. But yes, gist of the whole thing. Now you suggest how you want to go ahead, and probably we can
So see,
start.
the first thing we go like tomorrow class, uh,
Hmm.
we go from scratch from the beginning. So
Yep.
True.
we can go first how your data is coming. We will not go with the Power BI. First, we go with the data, how
Yes.
their
Mm-hmm.
data
Yes.
things works, how
Yep.
they connected, how you
Yep.
getting the data in your drive or not. That is also we have to check that how
Correct.
you getting
Yes.
the
Yes.
data in a drive,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because that makes you move, that makes you clarity that how the
Yes.
pipeline is working, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Because
True.
right, because this thing, you guys, if even though I give you 10%, you can
Hmm.
put 90% as well, because that is your job to put it into, right? Because I have to guide and you can put more, you know it, right? Because where it is, I can, if I put 10, you can make it 90 by knowing the things, because you already working, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
True. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, like for example, if you tell me that this is coming from that night, so from my, because I know the data part, because I'm working in the same thing, data engineering part, so I can
Yeah.
make you more understand that how the pipeline is building in terms of server, right?
Yeah. That.
Because I
Hmm.
make you more understand that how they build up their pipeline in the cloud as well. If they're using any cloud like AWS, Azure, or any cloud, definitely they have a cloud server for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
we can share that also, and we can then you can, because what is missing here, we are pretty novice in terms of this server thing and the
Huh.
data, and the data, the metadata, and that's where we always we can create dashboards and we can import reports, but
Hmm.
where we actually fall short is that we don't know how the data thing works, like in terms of the servers and all those background metadata and all those. As I said, that there is a third party who was involved, and after that I left, and then they started doing it. But the guy who joined, he was from the real IT background, so he was knowing how to. And like from this dashboard, even you would have understand that it's a pretty simple thing. He has not made
yeah.
it complicated. But only thing
Mhm.
that I'm missing is that I don't know from where they are sourcing in the data and how they are staging, because that part I have never done.
No issue, no issue. I'm there now. I can say the same line to my colleague as well. When they said we are stuck, I said I'm there. Don't worry. I can
No, no,
like.
really appreciate your help with this,
Trust.
because I think that will make both of our job easier, because I may be there for the next class, but after that I won't be there. So it's like
Okay,
you and Amisha who has to actually take it forward. How to you do, because she will be the one who will be doing all this thing. Yeah.
okay, and I can help you from the beginning as well. That
Yeah.
Yes.
how, let me tell you right now as well. See, first I will tell you from the scratch that how many data types you're dealing. So currently you're dealing with a structured data. Okay, it's a
Yeah.
structured one,
Yeah.
but Actually, only three types of data we have: structured,
Yeah.
semi-structured, or unstructured. So
Yeah.
unstructured using big data, Hadoop, Hive, Spark, big talk, text documentations, and
Yeah.
video audio data.
Yeah.
Then we have semi-structured, which is around JSON, XML file, right? And the very powerful structured row and column value. But all these three, it always coming into tabular format, because tabular format is the only way to get the data output in analysis systems. Okay.
Okay.
For getting analysis terms, we have to know statistics, basic statistics. Let's go
Yeah.
one step back. So
Yeah.
before creating, let's choose, we need a structured data. Like in your case, we're using structured data. So in structured data, we go one step back, we need a data source. So in case you're using some data source, for example, MySQL, PostgreSQL, or anyone. Now
Yeah.
let's go one more step back. Okay, because this is
Mm.
data source, but this data source need to be in a server. So now you need a
Yeah.
server for it. So what server you need? You need me Azure or AWS. Let's
Yeah.
go one more step back. Before
Yeah.
putting our data in Azure, we need a structure, that how many tables we need, how many columns we required, which column data type. So we need a data of a metadata for first pushing in it. So this
Yeah.
whole process called data modeling actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Data
So
model.
we go data modeling, that how we can get those things, then how we connect to our Power BI, and from Power BI how it coming up. Okay.
Yeah.
So this whole
Mm-hmm.
process, we see these three steps first. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we
Correct.
proceed with the next part. Is that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Ah, okay, okay, good,
Yeah.
good. I get it. And any other questions you have? Because today just a demo, so I'm just relaxing.
Yeah. 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 No, no, it's
Tomorrow I
it's a
will take you
very
some
good
questions.
explanation that how the data is really appreciated because yes, we
Yeah.
wanted to understand this
Understand.
whole structure thing.
Actually, the thing is, I'm working in data profile very long, and I did
Yeah.
masters
Mm.
as well in the data